Hey everyone, welcome back to another Today in Tarkov. We're going to start off a little bit different just because there's been a pretty common question out there. We'll get to the news eventually, but I want to dive into what the thumbnail is about, the graphics card first. But I want to dive into the Bitcoin farm first, you know what the thumbnail is about. That way you guys get what you clicked for and we can get into the other stuff afterwards. Okay, so I have my spreadsheet open up here for you guys to look at as I'm doing things and talking about this. The link will be down in the description below so you can go pull it yourself. Don't request access because that doesn't get it to you. You have to save a copy and then you can edit it and do whatever you want with there. So we're just going to do a quick synopsis here. If you want to see methodology and more information, go watch my other Bitcoin video. I go into the specifics a lot more and you can kind of understand how I come to this conclusion. I'm going to do all of this without fuel. And I already know that a bunch of you guys are going to disagree with that. That's fine. Fuel costs are all over the place. There's so many different ways you can get fuel and it makes making a good video almost impossible because if I do it one way, it doesn't work, so I'm just going to do it without fuel. If you're doing this anyways, you should be crafting, which will pay for fuel nonetheless. Now, the level 1 farm is always worth it, in my opinion. And the reason is you've got to have a place to put non-found and raid graphics cards. So if you're super good at getting out of raid and you just get found and raid graphics cards, sell those. Just sell them. You're doing fine. You're not going to hurt anything. If you die with one in your secure container and you have even one, you are better off building the level 1 Bitcoin farm and putting that in there. End of story. There's no argument about it. There's no, you want to dive into the math and say, oh, you need 2 graphics cards or 4.3 to break even. That's fine. You can do that. My personal opinion, if you have any non-found and raid graphics cards, you should have at least a level 1 Bitcoin farm. Level 1 to 2 is a tough sell right now. It takes quite a while for that one to pay for itself as well. You know, just if let's say you start from scratch and you go to level 2 right away, you know, you're talking, it's almost 3 months. To pay that for that to pay for itself, and that's not counting fuel. So you are right there to where you're probably about, I don't know, 6 weeks to pay for the level 2, maybe a little bit less, just because graphics cards are so expensive. So if you're at level 1 and you're looking to go to level 2, I wouldn't do it until you have 4 or 5 graphics cards not found in raid, but that's your choice. If you have a bunch of extra money, obviously build it, get those cards working for you. It's better than not. Now, lastly, if you don't have a Bitcoin farm, should you go all the way to level 3? Probably not. You're talking at least 4 months for that to pay for itself. So if you start today and you upgrade, your level 3 Bitcoin farm isn't going to be building. You're not going to be able to have it working until, what is it, like 10 days? If you blow through everything and you just start upgrading, right? Because you got to do 1 farm, 2 farm, solar power, and then you got to do 3 farm, and the durations on those are really long. I don't think it's worth it. You might break even right at the end of the wipe. Again, this is assuming wipes in 6-month cycles, which I guess you can kind of see. That's where I think it's going to be. If you think wipe is going to be with streets, by all means, build your Bitcoin farm. You shouldn't even been thinking about it because who knows when that's going to be. So final take, put your non-found and raid cards in there, sell your found and raid ones. Simple as that. I think that's where we're at in the wipe right now. Unless we see a big drastic change in graphics cards prices, that's what you should be doing. Selling your found and raid ones and keeping your non-found and raid and filling a farm with those. All right, so on to the news. For those of you that are still hanging around and got through that diatribe on the Bitcoin farm, the run through the water event is over. You know, the event where we could run through water and bushes without punishment, it's over. No more, the event's end. I'm just kidding. It's not an event, it was a bug. So BSG said they fixed it. That's what the patch this morning was for, I'm assuming, but nonetheless, it's fixed. And it sounds like you can't even lay down next to bushes anymore. Go test it yourself so you know what's going on. Also, BSG has put up a spot on their Discord. You go into their Discord, you look, there's a place for suggestions for daily, weekly, monthly tasks. So these are coming, super cool. We'll have more tasks to do, more things to do in the game. But as a community, we can provide input there, good ideas and stuff like that. So go hit up their Discord and go to that channel specific and you can put your ideas in there for tasks. And then something I haven't done yet, but I kind of want to do a couple of videos I think that are worth checking out for the Tarkov community. The first one is going to be ELU Gaming's newest video on the lore of Tarkov. It's such a nice change of pace from what most of the content we see in Tarkov right now. You know, guides and news and, you know, this kind of video and stuff like that. So he dives into the lore of Tarkov and talks about it, explains it. So if you're trying to get caught up, you're new to the game, it's an awesome place to understand what Tarkov is as a game, as a lore, and the last several years of building of what we all know today. So go check that out. I'll throw a link down in the description. It's a super cool video. And then next one is, this just came up as I was writing the script for this, so I figured I'd talk about it. Nice guy just did a summary on when is wipe. Is wipe going to be with 12-12? So here we go again. It's going to fire up the community. We're going to see when wipe in all of our chats and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for that, Nolan. I appreciate it. So go check out his video. He gives a summary on why he thinks wipe will be with 12-12 and when that'll be, his kind of discussion around it if it's not there. A lot of cool facts. He called the wipe 100% on for 12-11. So of all the guys that have had a pretty good track record for wipes, he's one of them. I suggest people watch his stuff if they have questions about it. All right, so quick economy and crafting blow through. We're already kind of getting long-winded here, so we'll just go pretty quick. Some items I want to talk about real quick that are good for loot. We're going to be classic matches. These are coming back into favor. I don't know if it's because of the red gunpowder craft. I haven't had a chance to look at it real closely yet to figure it out. But nonetheless, matches are back into that area of keeping, which they haven't been for a long time. So that's good. Old habits die hard. I still pick them up, and sucks having to sell them for like 8,000 rubles. Next up is Zibbos. These things go all over the place. Just be patient with them. You can sell them for 12,000 all day long. I usually sell them for 13 or 14 actually. And they do sell that way. So keep that in mind. The Nixer lenses and broken G phones. I want to bring these up because I usually vendor these. It's just quick and easy and you get money for them, but they are definitely worth selling now. G phones have been for a while, but even the Nixers are getting to where they're pushing over 20,000, 25,000 rubles. So if you've just been vendoring these, make sure you check the flea market because you can probably make a little bit more money off of these than just selling them to therapists. On to crafting. Here is our daily look at crafts. You got magnets, bleach, meds, VPXs. Those are your top crafts. Slicker's losing you the least amount of money, obviously, there. Specifically at the workbench. Magnets have come back into favor because hard drives have gotten cheap. That ain't going to last long. If you see them, snatch them up. Just craft magnets. You're doing good with those. Wires holding steady, green gunpowder holding steady where they are. And you always see this kind of battle with capacitors and printed circuit boards for like this 4th place slot. So you can craft those, VOGs, any of those things. Then for your top craft, as always, it should be BP. Right here, 46,000 per craft. SPP is getting close up to there with BP, but you have to be able to buy your SP13, your BTGZH, from Proper in order to get this price. That's what this price is based off of there, not the market price, so keep that in mind. Laboratory, bleach has made a comeback, which kind of surprised me because I talked about it yesterday. I figured I was going to tank it, so that's good. We're seeing a demand for bleach come back up and some of the components get cheaper. Again, if you're getting these out of raid, this is the best thing to do with them. Flea market fee on the bleach is less than it is on the sodium, for example, so it's more profitable to make bleach than it is to actually sell the sodium. But that's to each their own if you really want to pinch pennies. Again, one of my favorite crafts that I'm constantly doing is a scav vest, bartering for scav vest with Jaeger using slickers in combination with slings because it's easy. But shampoo and Lucky Scav junk boxes are also pretty good right now, and the Lucky Scav junk box being your long craft or your night craft, depending on how you want to look at it, with your biggest profit. Intel Center, VPX, intelligence, RFIDs, and flash drives. These have pretty much been at the top the whole time. Other ones really aren't worth crafting in my opinion because they take so long, but you do what you want to do. You can see here what's making money, what's not. I craft intelligence and thumb drives and I cycle back and forth on those. Unless I end up getting like SSDs out of non-found in raid or something, then I'll do a VPX. It's just that craft takes so long, and my goal is to level up hideout crafting and management, which means do shorter crafts. So that's where I am at. Do what works for you. Med station, nothing to talk about. Pile of meds, AI2s, SJ6s, defibs, all where they've always been. Nothing's really changed there. I'm cycling between meds and AI2s and defibs at night. Then lastly, the nutrition unit, and we'll wrap this up. Nothing to say here. You can break even with Slickers and Wilstons. Basically, you're not losing money. So if that's what you're doing to skill up, I do it, those two to skill up, and I use the Slickers to trade for scav vests and turn that into ripstop, which then I sell for dollars so I can fund my ridiculous meta weapon builds. So that's my complicated train of doing things. I'm also crafting whiskey now and again just to get edge closer to that thick case barter, which I'll be using whiskey to do that. Once I get the whiskey done, I'll buy the vodka and I'll buy the remaining moonshines that I haven't crafted and get myself a thick case and probably sell my found and raid one. So that's where I'm at. I hope this is helpful for you guys. I hope you got something out of it. Appreciate you guys hanging out and watching this long. Shout out to the Patreons as always. Those guys are huge supporters, and thank you to all of you that watched the video and liked and subscribed and commented and all that jazz. You guys are fantastic, and I appreciate it. Much love. See you on the next video.